The government's fall fiscal update is full of unwelcome surprises for Ontarians. I, for one, was saddened but hardly surprised to find proof that they are failing to respond to the issue of human sex trafficking. We read on page 135 of their fiscal update document that, to date, the Liberal government has spent only a meagre $1.4 million on their strategy to end human trafficking when they promised up to $72 million. That's not even 2%. I was just in Ottawa last week, meeting with victims, police and support organizations, where I heard that this urgently needed funding is nowhere to be found. This is a critical issue in Ottawa and across the province, and it requires immediate action, not press releases. There are victims every day. When will this government finally give up on their game of smoke and mirrors and take this issue seriously?
Minister of Finance.
Minister of Women's Issues, Mr. Speaker.
Minister responsible for women's issues.
Thank you, Speaker, and I want to thank the member opposite for the question. This government takes the issue of human trafficking very seriously. We know it's a devastating crime, a human rights violation, and that's exactly why we launched our anti-human trafficking strategy on June of this year. There is money attached to that, Speaker, and we are working very closely with our federal partners and municipal partners and other stakeholders to move this strategy forward. As the member opposite knows, there's a very strong focus on coordinating all the services that are required to support victims and to support the victims who need services, who face this devastating crime, and the strategy also focuses on, of course, holding traffickers accountable. We are very committed to this strategy. Work is underway now, and it's a cross-ministry effort, Speaker, with my colleagues.
Supplementary.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, but this is a criminal issue. For months, all we've heard from the government about this issue has come from in the form of bits and pieces of information added to press releases. Now we understand why. There is actually no real strategy when they made their announcement back in June. It's almost 5 months of inaction. Meanwhile, organizations in Ottawa and across the province, they're waiting to see any of the support that they were promised by this government. So once again, how can the government possibly claim that it is acting to address this urgent issue when their own numbers say exactly the opposite?
Just acting.
Minister.
The Ministry of Community Safety and Correctional Services. Thank you.
Minister of Community Safety and Correctional Services.
Thank you, Speaker, and appreciate the question from the member opposite. This is not a partisan issue, and we take this issue very, very seriously. We're committed to making the investment of $72 million. We are working to create an anti-human trafficking intelligence team inside the OPP. And we are committed, Speaker, to the work that is being done through the Ontario Police College to raise the level of training with regard to human trafficking for officers. We continue to make investments, Speaker, right across the province. In Halton, $38,000. In Hamilton, $159,000 of their police services. In Niagara, $140,000. In Peel Region, $190,000. In Windsor, $162,000. In York, $132,000. In Barrie, $85,000. In Guelph, $63,000. Speaker, we're making these investments. I take the concerns of the member very seriously, and we do on this side of the House as well.